Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. As always, I'm Clinton Geoffrey, along with my good buddy Adam Ross, who we're going to try and stay on his good side today because I hear he's been a bull. But it's okay because we're joking off the air, Adam, because normally that's my role. So I'm okay if we switch things up once in a while. And, you got Decker licking your ear, so you're going to be all right.
Yeah, he's up and down the back. He thinks he's a cat or something. Like he's just brutal. And he'll almost always step on me. Like he won't go around me, won't go over me. He's got to plant himself right on me and inflict pain.
Part monkey. We do have a great show. We have some great guests scheduled to come on tonight. We're expecting to talk to Amanda Balson, who's been a stalwart here in the Ontario late model scene on the pavement, and also Alex Tagliani, international superstar, to come on and talk about some of the stuff going on. We're also going to touch on the Formula One crash that I'm sure if you're watching this show, you've all saw as of Sunday morning, and we're going to analyze that and break down the good, the bad, and the ugly of that, and mostly good. So far. And then we got some other great topics we want to cover. Snowball Derby coming up this week. We talked to Caden Lavswitch last week. And of course, Adam, we always want everyone's input. So for this week's rundown at the top of the Caldecott Millwright rundown there at the top, I put weekly segment ideas. So this week, our segment question, or our statement question, I should say, to our viewers is, what segments would you like to see us do weekly? Adam and I are committed in the next week to get a lot more structured on the show, even though we've had about 2 years of just having fun. For planning things out, and we both agree that we need to do a bit more structure. And I think some of the weekly regular segments will help us bring out some great new content.
I think it really will. Organization, in the end, we always get to where we want to go. And the shows come off, and I'm pleased with the product that we put out. But I think if we just get better, if we structure a little bit better, we'll be able to hit things faster and harder, move on to the next. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So we want to get things to where we need them and to where we want them to be. And then once we're organized, I think we can put out an even better show.
Well, I look at our Burger Barn Video of the Week segment that we've done since the beginning, and, we always make it a point to find something cool to show to the viewers, and, that's been a great segment that we've kept along. So any ideas you guys got that you want to see us touch upon weekly, we'd love to hear from you. Another thing that we have been working on is some track features. So each week we're going to feature some of the races and the promoter owners from the tracks around that we're dealing with as we get to talk about, how racing's looking and where we figure it's going in the next little while. Adam, so much other cool stuff going on. We got our first snow here in Ontario, so I guess that is the official end of a racing season, is it not?
I don't know what it is or is not, to tell you the truth, Clinton. It's just something I don't, I shouldn't say I don't enjoy it, because it's always pretty when the snow comes down, but I don't know. There's so much darkness in December. Like, I'm a real sucker for Christmas and for the spirit of Christmas. In fact, the last 2 nights we've watched Christmas movies here at home because we want to get ourselves in a festive mood. But this year, to me, this is the countdown to 2021. I am going to be standing at the front door waving at midnight, December 31st, to say goodbye to 2020.
I wish we could just slam the door on the year and say it's all over. But I think we got to fight this battle a little bit further down the road, unfortunately. So we'll keep pushing along. I think our industry did a pretty good job of making a decent season out of what was left, considering back in March and April and leading into May, nothing was happening at that point. But I think at least our industry learned how to pivot, and we could make some, adaptations to be ready if we're still stuck in this situation going forward into 2021. And that brings us to our first segment, Motorsports Industry Report, Adam. One of the things we've had an ongoing segment here has been folks like Mark Rinaldi coming in to explain how the tracks have banded together here and working together to try and, I wouldn't say combat the government, but approach the government for help and try to explain our industry and the way it operates to the politicians to be allowed to operate. And they did a great job being allowed to get us to at least 100 fans and pretty much full pit areas. So that was great this year. I just want to bring everybody up to date. So there's one thing that's gone on here. So Mark, again, has been spearheading this deal, but I guess I can say we because all the tracks in Ontario mainly are involved with this. We did receive a proposal from Amer and Associates. They've dealt with them in Mark's other business. They're willing to take this on, and what they're going to do is they're going to put together a study that we can. Basically it's an economic impact study on our industry, and it'll be great because we'll be able to use this when we deal with the Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism, Culture as going forward with the government. It's also to the Ministry of Finance to show the industry's economic impact on the province of Ontario here and around. And the other thing is the idea that the tracks that participate in paying for this fund, so it's going to be $5,000 to $10,000 to do this. The tracks that participate in doing it, we'll get that data back that we can use to approach our sponsors, to work on our local tourism groups, to build marketing packages and do all those other things. So that's one super positive, Adam, that has come of this. Right away from the Oshweekend side, we said, yeah, we're in. Let us know what our share is going to be. I think the total math of our industry countrywide, and specifically here in Ontario where it's a real hotbed, I think the numbers are going to be shocking when they actually get put out. Your thoughts on this whole thing going on?
My thoughts are, inside the racing industry, we have often said there's jokes within a joke. Go-kart racing is the best kept secret in motorsports, which in the motorsports field is not really a secret anymore. It's a huge proving ground. Motorsports in general is a well-kept secret. The fact that we entertain and host more people as an event per weekend in the summertime. I mean, it's not even close, Clint. Not even close. There are very few activities that draw the people in that motorsports does. The challenge has always been there's never been a collection of motorsports venues. Like, they really have never banded together to use that strength, use that size. So this could be a huge moment for the motorsports industry, because they're going to be speaking in a way that the government can actually understand. Instead of one track promoter or one track owner speaking to their local politician, it's going to be numbers that are undeniable.
Yeah, we talked a bit about this last week when we compared, if you take just the round number, 200 tracks across the country. I'm not sure if it's there yet, but even that number times how many fans we've got, or sorry, it was 100 tracks across the country times 2,000 fans. The numbers are staggering right there. And I think, there's always been that one meme that went around. I'll have to find it this week, but it basically said, if you look at all the short tracks in North America, they have more fans per year than the NFL, NHL, NBA, and Major League Baseball all combined, which it's staggering. So I think when we get these numbers together, it's going to be a super cool deal for the tracks. It's going to give us some hard numbers because, let's face it, when we make up demographics, we more or less try and figure it out. I mean, Oshweekend, Greg Callan has done a great job with Tommy Googe before I came in as manager to kind of get us on the right path, and the numbers they work with are very accurate, we've come to find out. But a lot of these tracks, do you really know what you're getting in the back gate every year? Can you prove it? So this is going to help us get that done, and that's an amazing thing. Lots of cool stuff.
And to talk about having one voice for motorsports, it makes the motorsports industry, like, it puts it all into a funnel to come out in one neat spout, which ties in really well with our first guest tonight. Because when we look at the superstars of racing from Canada, you've got your Jacques Villeneuve, you've got Patrick Carpentier when he was doing his thing, Paul Tracy, and tonight's guest, Alex Tagliani, who just speaks for the entire sport. So really cool that we have him on tonight. I see that he's trying to connect here. Spencer, are we good with Alex?
How are you guys?
Awesome, Alex. Good to see you, my friend. How have you been?
Yeah, very good, very good. It's been a busy off season so far, but yeah, so far so good.
Alex, we got a few things we want to talk to you about tonight. Obviously, your exciting new project that you've got going on. We'll show some footage of that, and let's talk about that. We also want your take on the crazy accident in the Formula One world that we've all been talking about. So if you don't mind, stick around for a few minutes, and we'll go over a few of these items with you. Adam, what do you want to kick off first?
What I want to pick off first, Alex, it is COVID. Like my hair is ridiculous. I look sloppy, and you're still carving your facial hair with some sort of precision razor. Like, has this pandemic had an effect on you? You're still manscaping just beautifully, my friend.
Yeah, actually, I took the opportunity to not shave for quite a bit because of the mask, right? And well, at some point, like the wife goes, "Okay, babe, this is enough. You have to do something." So I think we all been there. I'm gonna try in the next few weeks to be a bit better. Just because sometimes in a relationship you need to try hard. So, but I've been there. I let go a bit, and when I turn into a bear, I have someone that puts me back on the on the right track.
Tags, before we get to your new facility that's been going on, because we're super excited about that too. I think that's a huge thing that you're doing there. Let's talk about your 2020 season. Things were kind of strange when it unfolded for you. Maybe take us the Cole's Notes quick version from March till now. How your seasons were, and how you dealt with this crazy year. You've been in racing a long time. Could you ever imagine we would be in the situation we're in now in the motorsports world?
Yeah, definitely not, guys. I think we all, I think some things has to be taken away from us to really sometimes realize, how good we have it. That being said, I'm looking forward to get back on track because I really think that we're gonna have a huge boost. We finished the year with a lot of car count on the track at Jukasa. If this is just an indication of what's going to happen when we're going to resume, I think we just have to be prepared for the fans coming to the racetrack. Last year at Motorsport, we had like a record number of fans because came out of the winter, first weekend of nice weather at Motorsport for the Victoria Day weekend, and we saw how much support we got from the fans. So whatever happens this year, I think everybody realized that we miss racing, we miss being at the track on Saturday night, we miss being with the NASCAR crowd, and I think for what we had to fight with this year, the series did tremendous job, and thanks to all the promoters that also supported the series, but by doing everything they could to allow us to have a couple races during the season, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to a fresh start next year.
Next year, I think we are going to see a different attitude at the racetrack with people being so appreciative. But
Yes.
the people in your area must be appreciative of the facility that you've put together, Alex. We're going to show a little bit of footage, but I want to know, where did this idea come from, and how big is it going to be?
It's gonna be pretty big, I think, guys. The facility is 65,000 square feet. It has a 20,000 square feet mezzanine. It has three level of racetrack in the center. So 500 meter of racetrack, three different configuration in two different directions. So 6 different configuration, and it's in regards of racetrack with karts on the track. I think it's the best of the best of what we have in Canada, and we definitely had the chance to invest that much money into the racing aspect, into the product, into the go-karts, just because we were able to find a location that was in a commercial site, was beside a highway, lots of traffic. We could incorporate a lot of food and beverage in it. We have a resto bar, we have arcades, we have 2-level laser tag, we have 6 lanes of bowling, 6 lanes of axe throwing. We have 2,500 square feet of corporate rooms. We have a club lounge for 30 people. At nighttime when people come off work or they want to watch the game or sport. We also have room for cars and coffee on weekends. Watch the NASCAR races, a Formula One race, or any races people are into. And we have birthday party rooms. So because of all those things that bring revenue into the center, we were able to just put everything best of the best in regards of the karting. We even got involved into a go-kart team. We became distributor of CRG for Canada, and the team is already full. We're going to have 14 kids racing with us next year in Ontario and in Quebec. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty big, and it's coming fast. I mean, I was watching the footage that you guys show, and tonight before I came home, I stopped at the facility and talked to the workers and check what's the progress. And basically, the 3 levels are up. It's going fast. So we're very excited.
Alex, axe throwing, really? That's going to be super cool. We've not seen that. Have you got a chance to throw the axe yet?
I'm terrible, but it's really fun. My partners are really into karting racing, and I think that's why they're behind this project. But we have people that are involved in this project that are super good with IT. Some are really good with food and beverage. Obviously, the president of Saint-Hubert is one of my partner. We have one of the biggest real estate developer that is also a partner in it. So we have good people in every sector. But the funny thing is, axe throwing, I saw a couple of arenas of axe throwing, and we just elevated to the next level. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It has X with LED lights. It has polycarbonate walls, so it's clear, so you can see to the other lane. We have like iPads that are there for the scoring and the game, instead of doing that on a board or on a piece of paper. We have a ton of games that are included in to have some fun, and we have bars for food and bev as you play. So we just, like I said, we brought every attraction to the next level. We have a 7D cinema with 8 seats that you're part of a movie, but you're watching with 3D goggles, and you have like super strong fans that are shooting your air to you. So like it gives you the impression of speed. The seat moves. It has like all these actuators underneath. It's just mind blowing. Anyway, I mean, I'm super excited about what I'm saying, just because it's tough to imagine everything that's going to be in there. I tested all the attraction. I tested the go-kart, and oh my God, wait till you see the go-karts. I mean, those go-karts are equipped with sensors on the bumpers for whoever people hits too hard. If they don't know how to draft, if they don't know how to bump, you're going to decelerate by 2 kilowatts for 3 seconds, so we can get a gap. They have a differential in the back. They have a curve system like F1 to recoup the energy. They have push to pass. They have front brakes. They have electric pedals for driver comfort. So you bring the pedals back with the button on the steering wheel. You don't have to move your seat. And
now, wait 1 second. I got to stop you there, Alex. How far forward? How far forward can we move these pedals? I've seen these adjustable things, yet I still try to climb into one.
No. I promise
like
you,
a circus show.
You will fit in it. You will fit in it, and I promise you, like for me, I have to put like an insert. So you will run without an insert, and you'll extend the pedal forward, so you'll fit in it. But the crazy thing is how these go-karts, they have performance of 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4 seconds if we want. So, like for everyday people, we're not going to run in that sort of mode. But if we want to do leagues, we want to do some racing and championships, that we have the ability to raise the performance to something that is going to be respected by people that have more experience in racing.
Alex, I bet your investors just wish you'd just show a bit more passion about this project, and you could really knock it out of the park. No, it's amazing to see you're behind this. Tell us a bit about. I got 2 date questions. When did this idea come together? Where did that happen from? And when will we actually get to test drive these carts and be open to the public?
Well, the good news is that you guys won't be able to miss it because it's on the side of the highway on your way to ICAR. So you can't miss the building when all the haulers are going to drive by. And by the way, we have a huge parking. The building is going to be ready and operational by the end of April. So if NASCAR comes to ICAR, it will be there, and I'm sure we will have fun with all the NASCAR fans and all the NASCAR people. For your second question, basically, it's been a long dream of mine. I started go-kart racing when I was 10 years old. And the worst moment in my life when I was young and I was racing go-kart was this time of the year, when you store your go-kart in the garage and the only thing you could do is wipe it and change decals on it and basically look at it for the entire winter until the spring. And there was always something in my mind about, like, why can we race go-kart indoor? Well, I was young. I let it be, and I ended up racing as my career. And I went in Vegas. And Vegas, I was there to train and to race IndyCar. And all of a sudden, there's a go-kart track that opens up, indoor, electric, and it's only a go-kart track. And then I've used some other facility, and I said, why can we not do everything in one? To do an indoor go-kart track, but to really have the chance to invest all the money we need to invest and make it, justifying financially, to have the best go-kart and the best track possible. And I met some people. I met some people in real estate. I met some people in the amusement industry, and some people from Europe basically told me that there was a company that was making tracks that were on 3 levels. So it would allow you to have the distance, the length, the width of a proper go-kart track, but without needing an 150,000 square foot building. And then I saw that every pieces of the puzzle was there, and I started picking up the phone. And when I had something in my head, I just basically tried everything I could to involve people that I needed. Obviously, in real estate, I needed land. I needed someone that could build a building for us. And after that, I had some friends over time that I saw that had the same passion as mine. They were business driven. And I said, guys, I'm willing to. I don't just want to be the face of this. I'm going to put money into it. I just want you two guys to partner with me. And what do you think about this? And when we finally got the land and we got the location that was proper to put this piece, then everybody chipped in, and we all went at it.
Alex, I just want to let viewers know, if you're just joining in, we're talking to Alex Tagliani about his new karting complex. Well, just quickly, Alex, what's the overall name? Are you calling it a karting complex or a sportplex, or what's the name of the business? Maybe we should let everybody know where officially it's located, and just for anybody who's just tuning in with us now.
Yeah, it's going to be called Tag E Karting, for obviously electric. So Tag E Karting and Amusement. And it's going to be located on the 15 North, about 30 minutes from ICAR.
Great. We also have you on. We want to talk about the Formula One wreck. Adam, take it away, and let's discuss a bit of that, because we definitely want to get Alex's perspective on what we saw on Sunday.
Alex, how many times have you watched this accident since it happened?
Well, many times, and I talked about it many times. It's blown my mind. It blew my mind that there's still guardrail in Formula One. I don't understand. I raced IndyCar in the days where we didn't have safety barrier. I raced IndyCar with safety barrier. I hit concrete walls and safety barriers at 230 miles an hour, And I promise you, there's no Indy car that I ever seen going through a safety barrier wall. So, in my opinion, obviously, an incident like this is not something that you can avoid on the racetrack, right? I mean, this is not something that you will be able to avoid. People touching wheels, banging, cars going left and right. This is something that always is going to happen. Tracks need to have like open walls to get their truck access and their vehicle access. We all know that. But the material that you're using, like if you would have had a concrete wall with the styrofoam in the back and then the big steel metal in the front that creates the safety barrier that all NASCAR tracks have now and IndyCar have, there would have not been this accident, or the accident would have happened, but I mean the car would have rebounded, the engine would have not braked, the explosion would have not happened, and he would have not gone through the guardrail. The fact that you're going to a guardrail, and how lucky that guy was, like if you just look at the situation, he got out, yes, but can you imagine if he stops 2 feet earlier and the guardrail is over the halo and he can't get out? Now he's stuck in the fire. Well, he got into the guardrail and the deceleration was so aggressive that the guardrail starts cutting into the car, and then with the inertia, the engine basically broke in half. Well, what happened if there's a piece of guardrail that goes into the tub and decides to cut him like a shredder? So I think it was not his day. There's so many things that the halo basically saved his life, because you could see the imprint of the halo in the guardrail, and without that, you can't even imagine what would have happened to his head. But what I'm saying is that in racing, we all need to learn and understand and know what's happening in the safety department, and all these series, right? They all pull from each other. The reason why we have an halo and we have like a canopy on top of an Indy card is, now it's because of all the incidents that happened in the past. The Dan Weldon and the Justin Wilson, even James Hinchcliffe got a small piece of a car onto his head at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but on the road course, and got knocked out. The safety barrier, they came because of a lot of like broken back and like really bad incidents, and the guys had to do something about it. So I'm very surprised that we saw that incident, because with a bit of even a concrete wall, even just a concrete wall would have not been as bad as what we've seen. So I hope that the standard of F1 racing and some tracks are going to change in the future.
Alex, they talk about a driver association having to sign off on all the Formula One tracks. Have you ever been involved in a group like that where you were asked as a driver the safety of the facility you were going to? And the second part of that question, if that's the case, how could they have missed this?
I think I'm going to get in trouble with this one. But listen, there's a lot of politics, right? I mean, yes, I've been involved into making suggestion and giving opinions. I think over the last couple of years, things have been better. I've seen some changes. But I also been involved when, some series are more concerned about, development on performance of the car instead of like the safety of the tracks. I've been in a car when I witnessed Dario Franchitti, when he finished his career, because his car lifted into the fence, and the fence was probably not good enough at that time. I've seen some crashes also, and the thing is, it's difficult, right? It's difficult because there's a lot into it. But yes, the guys sometimes we sign off on some things, but there's sanctioning bodies that are supposed to do more, I think. But on their defense, they will do more. But you can't always do everything, because in racing, what's really difficult is to predict the angle, what sort of crash you're gonna have, where the car's gonna rebound. So every time that motorsport improves in the safety department, it's because of experience. And it's really bad to say that, but you almost have to learn from experience, and that is okay. But it's when you see something happening and you learn something, but then there's no action. That is where I draw the line. I was at Texas Motor Speedway when Champ Car had to basically CART had to cancel the race. We were passing out. There was absolutely no way to know that by running 240 miles an hour average on that track, that with the short straightaways, we were not going to get like our blood to come back up into our brain, and it was going to continue to go down, and we needed G-force suit to be able to race there. Well, the decision was made after the analyzing of the black box, and we got into a meeting, and people took the right decision. They canceled the race, refund happened, and we went home. And I think at that particular time, if we would have gone and raced, I'm sure we would have got hit with like some tragedy again, because it was not logical to race. And in other cases, we raced and it was not logical to race, and stuff happened. So I think Formula One is going to look at this. They have all the resources, they have the money. They're going to look at this. They didn't really like what they saw, and I'm pretty sure that from now on you'll see some major change on what it's going to be standard for racetrack safety.
Well, and like you say, you have to learn from these incidents. I'll say this, Alex. I was impressed with how quickly the safety team got there. I was impressed that there was someone on the safety team who was suited up and equipped to go and help the driver when he came out. I do want to ask you this. How do you lose a shoe in an accident? I mean, racing shoes are like a second skin to a driver. They're tied on so tight and done up. How does a shoe come off as you try to get out of a car?
Well, I'm telling you, it could have happened in the crash. I've been involved into a pretty massive crash in Milwaukee, and basically I lost a glove, and I cut my hand on by hitting the inside of the cockpit, and so my gloves was basically like half brought down, and then I raised my hand just to say I'm okay, but then it was like there was full blood, on half of the glove that was like sticking out of my fingers, and I didn't pull the gloves out. I think sometimes when you spin or the G-force or the deceleration also, it's so huge. I mean, you could hit like 120 Gs, right? So I mean, I don't want to laugh about it, but but you make me laugh by asking me this question. But it just came off. It's just what it is. It could also be that basically with the G-force of the crash and the deceleration, maybe the Velcro just got ripped and the shoe was just barely hanging to his foot, and then when he just pulled out of the car to try to get out, it got stuck, and I don't know, but yeah, it's a funny question.
Yeah, I did just something I hadn't seen.
I've seen motorcycle guys in an accident get their shoes knocked off, so you never know. But Alex, we're going to let you go now. Thanks so much for being on the show. We'll all be watching. When you get closer to opening, we'd love to have you back on the show. Quickly let the race fans and the viewers know where they're going to find Alex Tagliani in 2021.
Yeah, so for sure, guys, I'll be racing NASCAR. I'm one of the guys that is, I can't sleep when I have something in my head, and now I have too many things in my head, so I'm losing a lot of hours of sleep. And since we stay on our appetite during the NASCAR season, because we only had 6 races. I can't wait to start the season. So we're all with fingers crossed and hoping that the 2021 season is going to be awesome.
Merry Christmas to you and the family, Alex. All the best. I look forward to seeing you soon and talking to you soon.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Same to all the fans.
Thanks, Alex. We appreciate your time. Wow, and I could talk to Alex Tagliani for hours. He's just that guy you want to sit down, like, break out some Pinty's chicken wings and crack open some beers and let's just let him go at it for the night. It's funny, you and I message each other back and forth. I'm like, do we let him go? I'm like, hell no, this is gold. Great to have Alex on the show with us, and we appreciate him joining us. We are going to get back to the F1 thing because we do got some more footage, and Adam and I are going to give our take on it. But we're flush with guests tonight, and our next guest is on the line, and we're ready to welcome Amanda Balson to the show. And Adam, there's been a lot of things going on with females in racing lately. There's been a lot of stories going on. And you said, hey, let's talk to one of them. So you reached out and got Amanda on the show. I'll turn it over to you now for a second to welcome Amanda to the program.
You set me up for failure here, Clinton. Amanda, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to let you branch off and answer this, Amanda. Does it frustrate you when people talk about women in racing because they should be broken down differently?
You know, you got to be more specific. It depends what they say. You know, like if we're talking about what we saw on Facebook the other day, that kind of got under my skin just a little bit. You know, I actually can't even remember the girl's name now. I think it was Logan or something like that, and you know, another racer had written something like, well, she needs to win something first. It's not fair. It's not fair. Well, you know, like if people pay to race, we all pay to race, right? Like everybody pays to race. So it's unfortunately not a requirement to go and win championships at whatever level, at whatever tracks to have a shot in ARCA. It's just not the way it works. So I get it. It gets a little under my skin that you just choose to rag on her and not the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little boys that are racing on dad's money. It's the exact same thing.
That's why I wanted to get you wound up with that question. I thought it was a good one to open with because I've always argued back. Singling out female race car drivers is just like singling out male race car drivers. They come in all sorts and shapes and skill levels, and they all pay their dues in different ways, which is why I wanted to have you on the show, Amanda, because you've been there, done that, you've won races. You know what I mean? So we can just speak to you as a racer. The fact that you're a well-spoken female, yeah, that goes in there as well. But for the most part, you're just racer.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have success from from the beginning, and you know, maybe that does set me apart from other females that were around like at the time when I started racing. You know, I was out there winning races, so I kind of take some sort of offense. I mean, certainly not now, but back then, you know, she's only in the newspaper because she's a girl. Well, she's only getting this sponsor. This is only happening because she's a girl. Well, yeah, maybe that stuff was happening because I was a woman or because I was a girl, but you forgot the part about because I was a girl and because I won. Like you left that part out. That's kind of the important part, I think.
Amanda, would you say, you know, when you go to the track, you're facing an uphill battle, or some things easier?
I guess it depends, like when we're talking about and what we're talking about. I don't feel that way now. I've been racing for over 2 decades. Like, a lot of people that I race against, you know, have less years on the planet than I have been in a race car. So, um, I sort of think that I've earned. You know, I've earned the respect in the racing community, and I think for me, maybe it is a little bit different. You know, I've won a lot of races at a lot of different tracks, and I'm champion. And I think that a lot of the younger people look at me like I'm a veteran because I am. You know, with a lot of experience and a pretty decent record. So I don't think it's as hard for me as maybe it is for others. Like I do think that there's other girls that are active in the sport right now that whether they like to think it or not, there's you know there's underlying things that are happening with those girls, and I've seen it. I've been there. There's actually I don't want to say name because I certainly don't want to embarrass anybody, but I would probably say maybe 2 3 years ago, I was sitting in the grandstand at a track, and there was a girl, racing, and I would say, there was probably like maybe 18, 19 cars on the track, and this girl was maybe running about 15th, or so. And I heard somebody behind me saying, I look at her, it's, typical, or she can't drive her way out of this, or whatever it was. And it kind of went on for a bit. And I really badly wanted to turn around and say something, but I didn't. I didn't want to cause a scene. But I just thought, like, hey, buddy, like, what about the five guys behind you? Like, should they pack up their stuff and go home too? Should they quit? Because, it just seems a little unfair. And I know, like, with women, I think it's always been that way. And I know it's that way because when I go to the track and there's a woman in the field, I'm watching too because, because it's different, because I'm compelled to watch her. And I think that most people, when you go to a racetrack running the high, late model and above, where there are very few women, and matter if she's running at the front or at the back, every once in a while you kind of check in just to see where she is, right? And I mean, that's good for women as far as sponsors, and as far as recognition for the good things you're doing. Maybe you make a good move and you're in ninth, and maybe if you're a man, maybe somebody would have missed that. But then the other crappy part is that maybe you're in 12th and the car's not so good, and you kind of make a bonehead move or something, and like half the crowd sees it. So that's kind of the down.
You explain it so well, though, Amanda. So it's not so much when there's a female in the field, it can be a compelling story. We all watch races differently, but I think almost everybody wants to find someone they can cheer for, or find someone they can cheer against, something that they can take interest in. Otherwise, it's just cars going around in circle. So if you do tell a compelling story and how you race and how you carry yourself, for those of you just joining, we're with Amanda Balson. Back in the day, she was Amanda Connolly. I was going to ask you about that, but I thought, no, that but you did have a name as Amanda Connolly. I am going to ask you about that. As Amanda Connolly, you were a fairly well-known race car driver. Was there ever conversation about you keeping your name and Kelly keeping his name, or him changing his name to Connolly? I mean, how do these conversations go?
So we actually had that conversation, and believe it or not, Kelly was actually the one that said from the very beginning, I never thought that you would change your name. And I said, people don't, you think me, and you think I'm a race car driver and I must be, a feminist and tough and whatever. I'm actually a traditionalist, and there was absolutely no question or no discussion to be had on my end that when I got married, I would take my husband's name. It's just it was a little, it was strange, because I mean, it's like, it's letting go a piece of you, and it wasn't just a name for me. It was like, all over the place. And it was different, but there certainly wasn't any question that I didn't want to hyphenate my name. I'm not that modern that I wanted Kelly to add Connolly to his name. Like I said, just pretty traditional person, and like no question about that at all. So definitely not offended by that at all. I think the announcers at Peterborough Speedway had the hardest time out of anybody. They called me Connolly Balson. Oh, we give up or something like that.
Well, a couple things here. Speaking about girls in racing, I mean, as Ab and I cut our teeth even on the dirt, the girls always were good. going back to Michelle Johnson or, Jessica Zemkin or Holly Porter. I mean, the list goes on and on. The girls who went out there and whipped the guys' asses. So it didn't matter to us who they were. Obviously, it was a great story to tell. And as an announcer, I love getting the girls pumped up. Where's my lady fans out there cheering for the girls? And it's not because they're diminished by any chance, but because it's awesome to see it happen. Amanda, let's talk about your plans for next year and where you see yourself going in the coming season. I mean, obviously things are a bit struggle with COVID, but let's take the virus rate out, pretend 2021 is going to happen like it should. And where are we going to see the Balson racing team this year?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to be following with the Oscar Tour. Kelly, my husband, full time with the modified, and myself, we're finally going to get the this hot rod, this elusive hot rod that everybody wants to talk about. It's undergone some winter rhinoplasty, and as far as I understand, everything is fine, and I think we have the thumbs up. We're good to go. So yeah, I'll be running for Rookie of the Year in the Oscar Hot Rod Series for next year. So pretty pumped about that.
And for those who don't know that story, Dan Price put together a hot rod clip that was just badass. It was too badass. So what did Dave Gainforth say? Just don't bother showing up. We need you to make these changes. Like, I'm not sure how that went down. I just know that the car was not welcomed as it was.
Yeah, I mean, there were there were some differences in opinion between what the vision of Oscar Hot Rod was to be and what our car was. And unfortunately, those two things were not meshing well. So, it was very cordial. There was never a nasty fight or anything like that. Dave Gameforth and I have been friends for over 20 years. I mean, we've had many party nights together, and we're definitely friends, and we spoke as such. And even David Brown, our new tech guy, David Brown and I go way back, years and years, Kawartha, Peterborough. So everything was very cordial, and we met with them, and we got out of them what they wanted, and we understood what it was. Everyone came to an understanding, and now we've changed it to reflect what they want. So everybody's just ready to move forward, and there's certainly no hard feelings. And yeah.
Amanda, if you could race anywhere, money's no object. What's the biggest aspiration you could have? Where would we see if you could go anywhere, race anywhere?
Just once, or like for a whole season?
No, whatever you want. You're rich and you got no worries.
I'm rich. Oh, geez. Okay, so you know what? I'm also old, so I don't want to say anything crazy like I want to go and race NASCAR or anything like that. But honestly, yeah, I would, if I had unlimited funds right now. I think I would probably rent like a pretty badass super late, and I go down to Florida and I run all 9 nights of Speed Weeks. Like, I've been going down there for, I don't know, 15 years and sitting and watching it. So I think it'd be pretty cool to be a part of it.
It's a pretty big lifestyle change, Amanda, when you go from the side of the fence that you're on in Florida to the racing side. It takes a lot of the vacation element away from that trip. Those are hardcore hours you got to keep for that event.
They really are. But if I was rich, then I wouldn't really have to go to work, and it wouldn't really be like only vacation. So I could go down there for 2 months. It would be okay.
Hang on.
So,
I just sent Spencer a picture of the car they outlawed. So I don't know if he can get that on for us or not, so we can talk about that quickly. But that's what we were just talking about.
While we wait for it, Amanda, the most important thing, where can people find you? We'll get to that car, and we're going to show it on the screen. But people, you want to see what Amanda has to say on social media, because it's usually pretty entertaining and pretty authentic.
I'm not super active on Twitter. I tend to read a lot more than I post, but I'm at 16 Racer. Same for Instagram, at 16 Racer, and I'm just plain old Amanda Balson on Facebook. No race page or anything fancy like that. Just me.
All right, thanks, Amanda. There's a look at the car. We appreciate your time, Amanda, and we'll be looking for you coming up in 2021.
Thank you. Before I go, I got a shameless plug here. If you don't have any of these yet, you really need to get some. Can you see that? I don't know if I'm allowed
we
to
can see it.
do that,
Absolutely.
but
Quick is what Amanda. So how do you benefit? So
you get it with Quick Wick for sure.
but in order for you to benefit from people buying, where do they have to buy their Quick Wick product, Amanda?
You got to get them from me. Send me a message. Send Kelly a message. We'll meet up with you. We'll get them to you. We got the best price in town. Just let us know. We can definitely set you up, and we've got like people working all over the place for us. So it doesn't matter where you are. We can get you hooked up for sure.
Thanks, Amanda, for your time. Frank geared up with us this summer, and we're big Quick Wick fans as well. Thanks for your time, Amanda. We appreciate it. Spencer, throw up that picture again. We're just going to take a look at the nose. So you're focusing on the nose of this Camaro car that Dan Price and the Balson Racing team put together for the Oscar. And, they had an issue with the nose, a little too aerodynamic for the hot rod era that they're supposed to be, which is 54 to 74, I think, or 15, something like that. But anyways, you get the message. They've redone the nose, and Amanda and the Balson team will be out racing this summer. So, wow, it's been great. This hour flew by. We still have a few things we want to talk about. Some things we'll jump into a bit quicker, but just a couple rapid fire things here. Want to mention big weekend in July for our friends at Ransomville and Lancaster. I got a few messages from guys like Mike Myers and the folks over at Ransomville and Lancaster talking about this big weekend. If you can get across the border by then, July 30th and July 31st are going to be big events in. Ransomville is going to have the World of Outlaws on the Friday. The very next night, the Whalen Modified Tour at Lancaster. Exciting 2-day show. Adam, quick thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot to be learned from that, Clinton. A big dirt show right near a big asphalt show on the same weekend. I think that could make for an awesome, awesome road trip.
Go ahead. Rub our nose in it. I've been trying to put that together for years. Still will. We're going to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
360s weekly at Outlaw Speedway. So that's a big thing news this year. I think that has a lot to do with the COVID situation and where the 360s ended up on the New York side of the border this year. We made enough happen in Ontario to keep them happy. But weekly 360 racing at Outlaw Speedway. Your thoughts on that quickly, Adam? $2,000 to win, 200 start. They're paying decent money. My concern is a lot like Weekend, Outlaw, and I live in a glass house, so I shouldn't throw stones. But their programs are already long as it is. They're really gonna have to do something. They got something like 7 divisions on their program. That worries me a little bit.
I was just gonna say that. Cut it to 4 divisions, Outlaw, including your sprint cars, and I totally support it. I think, just like you say, they run a lot of divisions. I don't think that's good for a race fan, but I love what they're doing. Just get rid of 3 divisions a night and you're on it.
That's a discussion for next week, maybe, because when you look at it, if fans can't get back in capacity, if we were stuck for at least part of the next year like we are this year, maybe that gets more racing and gets more people racing. Maybe a positive or not. Timing scares me, but that's one thing we can go. Quickly, I want to jump down to lost friends. We lost 2 good friends to the racing world, I was told today. First off, Mike Beneski out of the Ransomville area, as we were just talking about. Mike was a crew guy for Ryan Susi, I believe. He was a writer and reporter. Fran reached out to me at dinner time today and wanted to make sure we made a mention that we lost Mike. And also I got word through some of the super modified sprint car folks at Oswego that longtime super modified racer Todd Gibson passed away today as well. So we send our condolences out to their family. And there's Todd Gibson, and that would be the Flintstone Flyer, would it not, Adam?
The Flintstone Flyer, which in 1968 he won 13 out of the 18 features held at Oswego Speedway in 1968. That's a record he still shares today. I think he shares it with Jimmy Champagne, if I'm not mistaken. I was pouring through some stats, but our family's been good friends with the Gibson family for a long, long time, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day, but we lost Todd Gibson. Mike Beneski he's been a fixture at the races for a long time. I don't even know if you remember, but he was one of the original pains in the ass on the Dirt Track Digest forum. He had
I do.
he had a lot of opinions, and he wasn't afraid to share them. And while I didn't agree with him a lot of the time, I really loved the fact that he would put his opinions out there, and died from COVID. I think it's sad, it's tragic, and I hope we see the end of this before long.
For sure. Couple other things we want to mention. I got a note from Steve Shaw today. Spencer, do you have that Thunderstock picture I showed today? And I thought Adam would like this. Bad Brad Autier from the southwestern end of Ontario, longtime UMP late model racer with the Great Lakes late models and the ODLM, and probably he's got a car being built. I don't know if you can show that, Spencer. Steve Shaw sent it to me. Said, yeah, we got a car being built for Brad. He's going to get around and tour out and get to some of these other tracks that he can get to with the Thunderstock Common Rules with the Ontario Dirt Competition Committee. And speaking of that, we have a conference call tomorrow for the ODCC to talk about mini stock, street stock rules. So that's great. We should have some news on that. But Adam, probably our first real on the air debate where you and I got each other's throat. We were young announcers. It would have been a race at Oshawegan Speedway with Brad Autier and was it Kirk Hooker? I can't remember who it was, but there was a slide job questionably gone wrong, and we fought and we continued to fight, and that's where the dual airbags was born, and that was our first good blow up that we said, no, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're looking at. And you said, no, you're blind, you don't know what you're looking at. And we went at it pretty good. But if we only had footage of that, I'm going to try and dig that. It's got to be out there somewhere. But I thought you'd get a kick out of Brad Autier coming back. You brought back that memory for me. Snowball Derby this weekend. Want to wish Caden Lapsovich, who was on the show last week, all the best of luck. I know we wanted to
Spencer,
talk about
the list. Do you have that picture you can put up, Spencer, that I slid into the chat? Big announcement, Caden Lapsovich running Snowball with APC support.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I saw that picture and didn't know what it meant, but that is cool. So we want to wish good luck to Caden. Obviously, he'll be driving the 16 blue car down there. Check that out if you're watching the Snowball Derby this weekend. What else we have? Raphael Lessard signs with GMS, and so that's a story we'll be talking to. He's another one from Quebec, Adam, that we have some touches to, that has raced some iRacing stuff with us. We'll be working on getting Raphael Lessard on the show in the coming weeks. I've also sent a shout out to Stuart Friesen to try and get him on to talk about his truck season as well. So we're having some high-profile guests coming up here in the coming weeks as we lead up to the holidays. They've got some time, and it's a good time for us to get these gentlemen on our show. The other thing is, last thing on the show is training and racing. This is one thing that, we talked about. I thought it was a really cool contraption that they made up somewhere. Run that video of the training, Spencer. So this is a trainer with weights on a steering wheel and lights, and just look at the trainer. I think it's super cool. He's also got lights on the pedals, and looks like a lot of fun. But man, I bet your arms are burning. And if you're a young racer coming up, racing is taken seriously these days. You need to put your effort in if you're going to compete, because that's what you're battling against. And I just came to realize we barely got to talk about the Formula One wreck at all.
You know what? We can cover that down the road. I think we've got time to talk about that, Clinton, in the coming weeks, because it is one of the most spectacular crashes we've seen in a long time, for one, and for two, there's not going to be a lot of other highlights to go over. Because if we do a show like this every week, I'll be ecstatic. Two great guests. We want to start breaking down by track, week over week. So, for example, we'll know on a given week, hey, we're going to have Delaware Speedway represented. So get the questions in, get the interest in. We're headed in the right direction. I'm really proud of the work that we've put in, and the work that Spencer does, Clinton, and the work that you do in preparing for this stuff. And we're on our way.
Hey, we have a good time. Quickly, I know you got to get off and qualify at Daytona. If you're looking for some more racing entertainment coming up, the Caldecott Millwrights presents the Blacktop Rivals Series. What are we, race number 7 this week, I think, maybe? And getting ready to go. It's going to be amazing. Is it 7 or 8?
I think it's 8.
All right.
I should know that.
Either way, check it out. The Rivals Blacktop coming up next here, and it's on GeForce TV in about 10-15 minutes. Make sure you check it out. We'll be ready to check it out. I can't wait to see this. I got to practice with some of the guys on Sunday. I had a great time. Not brave enough to get on the broadcast yet and be the cause of 3 yellows and get taken out. Adam, my last bit of advice for you before you go. Mind your tires. You got limited sets. I learned that Sunday. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon. And we'll be watching your race from Daytona here shortly, Adam.
See you, Clint.